Hello my dear students, welcome back to the online classes for physics, and we will be continuing with the chapter measurement, and the topics of discussion for today's class are written on the board. Firstly, we will learn the reason why all physical quantities do not have units. Secondly, we will learn the standard units of length and time, and thirdly, we will learn the units of mass and volume. So we will now do the first topic of discussion today, which is reason why all physical quantities do not have units. All right, now physical quantity is something which can be measured. Okay, now after measurement you need to note down the numerical value as well as the unit, but unit is not applicable, or unit is not present for all the physical quantities which we are going to measure. For example, suppose if we are talking about a machine. Okay, a machine has something called mechanical advantage. Okay, so if I talk about mechanical advantage of a machine, the formula for which is load, which is a kind of force which we are going to overcome using the machine, divided by effort. The effort is also a kind of force which we are going to apply on the machine. So if we talk about the unit of this mechanical advantage, it is going to be the unit of load, that is the unit of force, that is Newton, divided by the unit of effort, again which is a force whose unit is going to be Newton. So the unit of mechanical advantage will be 1. That means it is not going to have any unit. So mechanical advantage is a physical quantity which is actually unitless. All right, that is why mechanical advantage and likewise other physical quantities which happen to be the ratio of two similar physical quantities, they are not going to have any units. Okay, so these type of physical quantities are called unitless physical quantities. So it is the ratio of force to force. That's why unit also will be unit of force by unit of force. They are going to cancel out. Okay, so it comes out that mechanical advantage becomes unitless, or it has no unit. Okay, I'll give you another example. When we talk about light, refraction of light, we come across a term called refractive index, also called Ri. In short, Ri, the formula for which is speed of light in air divided by speed of light in a given medium. The medium can be water, glass, or anything. Okay, now when we talk about unit of Ri, we will put the respective units in the formula. The formula is the ratio of speed to speed. Okay, now unit of speed is meter per second. Unit of speed, be it in any other medium, be it in any medium, it is also going to be meter per second. They are going to cancel out each other. Again, unit of refractive index, there will be no unit. So refractive index is another physical quantity which happens to be unitless. All right, likewise there are so many other physical quantities which happen to be the ratio of two similar physical quantities, and whose units there is not going to be any unit for those physical quantities. That is why all physical quantities do not have unit. That is the main reason why many physical quantities do not have unit. Now we will go to the second one. We will learn a second topic for today's discussion. We will learn the units of length and unit of time. So we will first learn about the unit of length. We will define the SI unit of length. So in SI system, unit of length is meter. The short form for which is M. Okay, so we are going to see how long 1 meter is, and we are going to define 1 meter. Okay, now we will define this meter in terms of the distance traveled by light, because light travels very fast and the distance traveled by light in air is fixed. Okay, so we will take the distance traveled by light as a standard quantity, and we are going to see in terms of the distance traveled by light how much 1 meter is. Okay, now we will go by a known fact that speed of light is equal to 299,792,458 meter per second. That means in 1 second light is going to travel these many meters. Okay, now if you take 1 second, these many meters, here you can see distance traveled by light in 1 second, okay, which comes from the fact speed of light, okay, in vacuum is 299,792,458 meter. Okay, if you go on to calculate the distance traveled by light in 1 by this fraction of a second, then using the unitary method it comes down to be 1 meter. So this fact remains fixed, okay, throughout the universe as long as there is vacuum. So 1 meter has been defined as the distance traveled by light in 1 by 299,792,458 fraction of a second. Don't forget to mention in vacuum. So meter has been defined in terms of the distance traveled by light. Okay, this was defined in the year 1983, and it was defined in terms of the speed of light, according to which 1 meter is the distance traveled by light in this fraction of a second in air or vacuum. That is how you define meter, a standard meter in terms of the distance traveled by light. Now, for all the measurements, if the measurement is very small or very big, we cannot take meter. Okay, so meter has got its own subunits and multiple units. So let's see what are the subunits of meter. The subunits of meter, if the measurement is small, we go for the subunits. The first one is centimeter. We all are familiar with the centimeter, which is 1/100th part of a meter. You have got a length 1 meter. Okay, you have to divide this 1 meter into 100 parts. 1 out of those 100 parts of a meter is equal to 1 centimeter. So I can write 1 centimeter is 1 by 100 meter. Or I can write 1 centimeter is equal to 10 to the power minus 2 meter. This is how we define the first subunit of meter, that is centimeter. Next is millimeter, which is used for even smaller measurement. I will just give you the value now. Millimeter where 1 millimeter is 1,000th part of a meter. You have to divide 1 meter into 1,000 parts. One out of those 1,000 parts is equal to 1 millimeter. So 1 millimeter can be written as 1 by 1,000 meter, which can be written as 10 to the power minus 3 meter. Okay, this is the second subunit. The third subunit is micron or micrometer. Symbol is mu. This is pronounced as mu, a Greek letter. Okay, where 1 micron or 1 micrometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 meter. It is even smaller than a millimeter. And next we have nanometer as well for very small measurement. Nanometer, where 1 nm, that is nanometer, is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 meter. It means that you have to divide 1 meter into 10 to the power 9 parts. One out of those 10 to the power 9 parts is equal to 1 nanometer. These are the subunits of meter. Alright. Now, if the measurement is bigger than a meter, if the object to be measured is very big, dimensions of the object is quite big, then we have to go for multiple units. Okay, multiple units of meter. In metric system, we just have one multiple unit, that is kilometer, where 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meter. So if a meter repeats itself 1,000 times, we can say that the distance is equal to 1 kilometer. Okay. Now, we will go to the next definition. Unit of mass. In SI system, it is kilogram. So we will define how much 1 kilogram is equal to, taking one standard object as a standard. Okay, so unit of mass, the SI unit is kilogram. It was defined in the year 1889. 1 kilogram was defined as the mass of a cylindrical piece of platinum iridium alloy. So there is an alloy which has been made out of platinum iridium. Okay, the measurements has been taken, which is kept at International Bureau of Weights and Measures at Sèvres near Paris. So you have 1 kilogram as the mass of a cylindrical piece of an alloy which is made of platinum iridium. Okay, it is kept at the International Bureau of Weights and Measures at a place near Paris. Okay, now that has been taken as the standard 1 kilogram. Okay, and the replica of this 1 kilogram is what we use in our day-to-day life. Okay, so that standard object kept at the International Bureau of Weights and Measures, that happens to be exactly equal to 1 kilogram, which has been defined as a standard kilogram. Now, if the measurement is small, if you're buying some gold, you're not going to buy, if you are buying some gold, you're not going to buy kilograms of gold. Okay, we are going to buy a few milligrams of gold because that is too costly. Likewise, if you are measuring the mass of the planets or huge heavenly bodies, we can't use kilogram because their masses are very big. So taking the various objects, the sizes of the objects into consideration, we use the multiple units and sub-units of kilogram. So in short, I'm going to tell you what the sub-units of kilogram are. The sub-units of kilogram, the first one is gram. Okay, where 1 gram is 1,000th part of a kilogram. So 10 to the power minus 3 kilogram is equal to 1 gram. So you have to divide 1 kilogram into 1,000 parts. 1 out of those 1,000 parts is equal to 1 gram. Second smaller unit is milligram, mg. If you look at the medicines, okay, the quantity of medicine is mentioned as milligram there, where you should know that 1 milligram is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 kilogram. Then if the measurement happens to be a bigger one, like you are measuring a huge quantity of rice, okay, or some amount of iron pieces that we buy during the construction of our houses, we don't buy in kilogram, we buy it in quintals and tons, okay. So coming to the multiple units of kilogram, we have two in the metric system. Number one is quintal, where 1 quintal is equal to 100 kilogram. So if you are buying a quintal of rice, then you are actually buying 100 kg of rice. Then the second one is metric ton, where 1 metric ton is equal to 1,000 kilogram, or I can say the same metric ton in terms of quintal is 1 metric ton is equal to 10 quintal. So these are the multiple units of kilogram in the metric system. Now we will next learn the unit of time. Now in the SI system or any other system, the unit of time happens to be second, the short form for which is S. Okay, now 1 second, we define it in terms of a mean solar day. Okay, so a second is defined as 1 by 86,400th part of a mean solar day. Okay, I'll give you the calculation here how this definition has come from. So if you look at the calculation involved in the definition of a second, you can see that 1 mean solar day, okay, is equal to 24 hours. Now you need to convert 24 hour into minute, just multiplying it by 60. Then you have to convert these minutes into second. That means 24 multiplied by 60 minute multiplied by 60, it will give you the value in second. Now this value comes down to be 86,400 second. Now you can see that 86,400 second makes 1 mean solar day. That means how much is 1 second equal to? 1 second is 1 by 86,400 part of a mean solar day. That is how we have come to the definition of 1 second, where 1 second is equal to 1 by 86,400 part of a mean solar day. Now if you want to measure time which is shorter than a second, then you have to go for smaller units of time, and the smaller units of time are millisecond, microsecond, shake and nanosecond. So for measuring smaller intervals of time, you have to go for smaller units of time. Okay, where we have got millisecond, ms, where 1 millisecond is equal to 10 to the power 3 second, 10 to the power minus 3 second. So you have to divide a second into 1,000 parts. Take one of those 1,000 parts, that is going to be equal to 1 millisecond. Likewise, we have got microsecond, where 1 microsecond happens to be 10 to the power minus 6 second, which is even smaller than a millisecond. Then we also have something called shake, where 1 shake is equal to 10 to the power minus 8 second, and we have also got nanosecond to measure smaller intervals of time, where 1 nanosecond is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 second. Okay, so these are the smaller units of time. And when we talk about the bigger units of time, the bigger units of time are used in our day-to-day life. Okay, bigger than a second, we have got minute. Bigger than a minute, we have got hour. Bigger than an hour, we have got a day. Bigger than a day, we have got a week. Bigger than a week, we have got a month. Okay, the variation of months you already know. Okay, all the months do not have the same number of days. Then bigger units of time than a month is a year. Then we can go for leap year as well. Some years have got 365 days, some years have got 366 days. Okay, then bigger than a year, we have got a decade. Then we can go for century. Then we can go for millennium. Okay, so these are the bigger units of time. Next, we will see the unit of volume. Okay, now volume is something, a volume is the extent of an object in 3 dimensions. Okay, how much space an object occupies in the 3-dimensional space, that is called volume. Now SI unit of volume is meter cube, meter multiplied by meter multiplied by meter, length into breadth into height, that is meter cube. Okay, but in our day-to-day life, we don't use meter cube as the unit of volume. We generally use liter. Actually, it is small l. Okay, but to avoid the confusion between that L, which is used for length, okay, and this unit, we sometimes use capital L to denote a liter, where 1 liter is equal to 1 decimeter cube. So here I have the definition of 1 liter. It is the volume occupied by 1 kilogram of water at 4 degrees Celsius. Now this temperature is important because due to anomalous expansion of water, water occupies minimum volume and has got maximum density at this particular temperature. So we take this as the standard temperature of water, where at this temperature exactly 1 kilogram of water will be occupying an exact or definite amount of volume, and that volume is only equal to 1 liter. So we can define 1 liter as the volume occupied by 1 kilogram of water at 4 degrees Celsius. So that is the meaning of 1 liter, which happens to be the unit of volume used in day-to-day life. Though it is not the SI unit, but since it is used widely around the world, we are defining 1 liter as the unit of volume. Okay, so let me give you a recap of what we have done in today's class. Firstly, we learned the reason why all physical quantities do not have a unit. Okay, if they happen to be a ratio, if the quantity happens to be the ratio of two similar quantities, then the quantity will be unitless, it will not have any unit. Then we proceeded to learn the SI unit of length, which is meter, which was defined in terms of the distance traveled by light in vacuum. We also learned the subunits, submultiples and multiples of meter, okay, for smaller and bigger measurements. Then we learned the definition of 1 kilogram. Then we learned the subunits and multiple units of kilogram for smaller and bigger measurements. Then we learned the unit of time, that is second, in terms of a mean solar day. Then we learned the unit of volume in terms of the volume. We learned the unit of volume as liter, which is the volume occupied by 1 kilogram of water at 4 degrees Celsius. And I told you why this 4 degrees Celsius is important. That is all for today's class. I want to thank you for paying attention.